Hey gang, welcome to the Jim Master Show, Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series. You see on your screen, there is our next guest coming up for you, coming to us direct from the beautiful Emerald Isle, Ireland. Yes, he's a terrific Irish singer, songwriter, musician, James McGrath. He is a rising star, and he's our guest coming up right now here on the Jim Master Show. The other James. We've got James here and James there. We're in the United States here in the New York area. Good to have you with us. Let's tell you a little bit about our very special guest. We're going to bring him right on. Welcome everybody who's tuning in from all around the world. He is a proud Irish singer-songwriter. He's got a gift for captivating audiences with his down-to-earth and relatable storytelling, which is what he does in his music. He loves to tell stories. He loves to engage with everybody and have a good time. And his concerts, when he tours, they're always a fantastic time. Through his charismatic live performances, he takes the listeners on an emotional roller coaster. His shows are really honest, raw, and filled with genuine passion. And matter of fact, his management is out of Johnson City, Tennessee, USA. And he has released a debut album, Can't Get Out. Yeah, isn't that cool? And he's toured across the United States and his home country of Ireland. And we're very excited about all this because we've got lots to share and lots to tell you about and how you can get the music and all the rest. But he has been doing this for quite some time. We even dug this up. This goes back in the past, huh? He has been a name brand for a long time, and so many people love his music. He's worked with some of the greats in the industry as well. And again, his sound is pure. His sound is real. His sound is, again, very addicting too. And if you haven't heard his music, we'll tell you how you can get the music and so much more. But he's excited to be here. We're excited to have him here as well on the Jim Masters Show live series. So good stuff, gang. Great to have you here and great to have our very special guest joining us here from Ireland. If you want to comment, feel free to comment during the show as well. Leave a comment on our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. And of course, give the episodes a like and all the rest that you enjoy. We love having you here. So we're going to welcome James to the show right now, coming to us from Ireland. And here he is. James, welcome to the Jim Master Show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me.
It's so great to have you here. How are things in Ireland?
Things are great. Things are nice.
You doing well?
Yeah, doing good. It's just having a relaxing day today, and I'm very happy to be on this show.
Wow, we appreciate it. I know we've been planning this, and it's so great to have you here. You know, I want to go back in time a little bit. We showed some of those previous pictures, different iterations of you over the years. You've been doing this for a long time. What first inspired you? What got you started in music? What were those first inspirations? You know, we always hear that when you grow up in Ireland, if you're not a singer, they always hand you a fiddle, a flute or a guitar and put it in your hand and say, go kid. How about for you?
Well, for me, so my dad is a musician and he's a bass player. So I kind of grew up
renowned too. Tell us who he is.
My dad's name is Huey McGrath, and he played in some of the country bands like Louise Morrissey, and he was actually in a very big rock band back in the day in Ireland. They were called Wildlife. And so I was submerged in it from a young age. And let me see, what was Dad's band? Dad's band, Ebony, when I was growing up. I used to go to all their concerts and their shows, and I'd be bringing in and out the gear, and I have to carry in fly cases and set up the equipment. So I was always in music was always around me, even with my mother's side, because Mum was always listening to music, and everything was music in our household, you know.
So what was the music that you were first exposed to? What kind of sounds, what kind of vibe, what genres were you hearing first, James?
Dad was a big Van Morrison fan, and on all our family trips, or if we were having a long drive anywhere, he'd listen to a Van Morrison album from start to finish, and he would talk to me about like the groove, and he'd ask me, am I feeling the groove of the song? And I remember that from a very, very young age.
Wow. So are you a fan of theirs too? You like that sound?
Yeah, I love Van Morrison, and my mother actually was big into American country. So when I was a kid, I was listening to all the old American country classics, because Mom was a big country fan before. I think she was ahead of the posse, really.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. There is a huge following for country music and folk music in Ireland, right?
Yeah, it's like it was big, but it's even gone bigger now. It's just blown up completely. Everybody's listening to country now.
It really is. So how do you describe your sound for folks who are watching around the world, who are learning about you for the first time? Again, you've been doing this for a long time, but how do you describe the James McGrath sound?
I hope I hope it's authentic, and if it's not authentic, I feel it's the search for authenticity anyway, because I very much focus on it being honest, and the stories are true, and I try to sing with my own accent, and I just try to make it come from an honest, real place. So that's what I'm hoping to achieve. Whether I achieve that or not, it's totally up to the listener, I suppose, but that's where I'm coming from. It's coming from my heart and coming from my soul.
What are some of the things that actually inspire you when you write the music? Are you always just observing life and living life, and some of those things are what inspire you to pen the music?
Yeah. I could be just simply chatting with some of my older friends, and they might say a certain turn of phrase, and I might like it, and then I'll work a song around that, or I will actually take on a whole situation and try and write about the situation. I suppose every song is different, but yeah, it comes from real life situations.
So what was the very first instrument that you learned? Was it the guitar? What came first for you?
I think the first instrument I learned were drums, and I moved swiftly on to the guitar then, because I wanted to write. I actually started writing words and lyrics quite young, so I picked up a guitar swiftly after the drums.
So your father was really quite an influence, you know, watching him do his thing. How much of an influence would you say he was to sort of spur on this interest in music? I'd imagine him being very proud of you doing that, huh?
He was a massive part of my musical journey, because I don't think anyone else would have had the patience to be able to teach me. I wasn't great at learning or sticking to guitar lessons or sticking with like school lessons of music. I wasn't able to listen. I'd lose focus, but my dad always made it fun, and dad always showed me chords, and he showed me songs in a fun environment, and music never felt like work to me. It was always felt very natural, and I really think that's because of the way dad approached it.
You know, some have said when listening to your voice that your vocals have a hint, they echo the depth of Coldplay's Chris Martin and the fervor of Beck. When you hear that, I mean, these are legends. When you hear that, especially with the single "Hold On" that you did, how does it make you feel? That's kind of cool to be compared to names like that, huh?
Sure, it's an honor to be mentioned in with anybody up to that standard in that category. I don't like it's. I actually remember hearing something like that, and I couldn't believe it. It's an absolute honor. It can be overwhelming at times when you read something like that, and you just go, okay. and you just you try to tip on with it, and hopefully keep your singing grounded.
Absolutely. Like you said, authentic, deep lyrical insights, compelling, singable melodies, which I think is really fantastic because, we need that kind of sound, stuff that makes us think, stuff that has a depth to it, that makes us want to have a good time. And that's important, right? To have that, to really emphasize the melody. A lot of times they say melody's going away in music these days. Everything is so manufactured, but it sounds, like, and in listening to your music, previewing it before our conversation on the show, I can hear that desire you have to sort of cut through that. You use whatever you can use of today's world and technology and advancements, but you really have this desire to cut through all that with this authenticity, to get to people's hearts and souls in a deeper level through your music.
Well, thank you, first of all, for saying that, because even you using the term cut through is something. When I'm writing a melody, I like to cut through the norm. I don't like it to, I like it to really hit on the nose of what I'm feeling. And it doesn't always happen, but sometimes it happens, and sometimes it can be magic. And you're after finding a pure melody, and you're after finding some air that was in the wind, and you're lucky enough to grab it. And then if you've got some lyrics that'll match that, it starts writing itself.
It really does, doesn't it? The new music that you have out, and congratulations. I know this has been, a real labor of love for you for quite some time, putting this together. What inspired you to put this particular music together? And again, congratulations on it. It can't get out. It's a great, great, great listen. Available now, again, iTunes and Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, everything there. Tell us about this. What inspired you to do it? Great cover too.
Thanks, Jim. What inspired me with Can't Get Out was I have such a variety of genres and sounds that I wanted to actually try and put all of them genres onto one album, and without it sounding out of touch with one another. So I picked 12 songs that kind of have a similar theme, but are in different genres. And I think people can kind of get a little view of what I'm about. If you were to get this album, it's a good summary of the story so far. And I thought titling the album Can't Get Out summed it all up, because Can't Get Out speaks about all the topics, really. And Can't Get Out speaks about the drinking and the women and religion, and it's all in that song. So that's why the title track is Can't Get Out. But I think the album takes you on a journey. Well, I'm hoping it does. That's what I was trying to achieve with it, and I'm hoping we got there.
How much of it is your own personal journey for people watching who are learning about you for the very first time? You're very open about your own experiences, your own life, and things that, you've had an opportunity to, at a young age and through the years, things that, wide-eyed and excited about life and writing music and other music out there as well, showing just some of the other material that is out there that people can definitely scoop up as well. But when you look at it all, how much of this is about James' life journey as well through the years, this particular music now?
I'd say 90% of that album is personal experiences. Like, I have no problem talking about the bad times and the dark times in my songs. There's 2 or 3 songs on the album that are very dark, and they are true. They're true stories, and I wasn't writing in the third person. They were wrote about me, and thankfully I made it out of them dark times. And then there's other songs where it's about the good times, and they're me too, and I'm proud that they're me. So there's no filter on this album, and I can openly say it is all about me and my life, but I hope that I write it in a way that it might relate to other people, and it might help them if they're going through anything that I was going through, that it might help.
Have you had, I know it just came out, but has there been feedback from people, either fans, super fans of yours already who are excited about the music, or people that it's reaching for the first time now?
Yeah, I've got super feedback. It's been great. Like, it's been really there. When you get such good feedback, it warms your heart, because sometimes in this business you wonder, what am I doing this for? And when you bring out an album and you get messages and you get people saying they're listening to the songs and they can relate to the songs, it just reassures you that you're doing what you're meant to be doing. You're on your path, and I'm getting plenty of that. Even though the album is only out, I've got some nice reviews of people I really respect. So I'm very happy with it.
Which is cool. I mean, when you get that kind of feedback, how did you, one of the hardest things is deciding what to put on the album. I mean, a lot of times you have 30 songs and you've got to narrow it down, especially when it goes on albums or CDs. And that's the hardest, to pick and to have it flow. What was that process like for you? How did you decide on the songs that are actually on the album?
I actually had great fun. I had great fun deciding what songs and how I was going to map out this, because I have maybe 200 songs, and I was basically, the songs that I enjoyed playing the most live made it without any doubt. I knew we'll say 6 or 7. I knew I had the bones of the album. And then me and my friend JJ and Alex and that, we sat down and we had great fun on a few nights picking different songs and seeing what other songs go with the story. And eventually we got it down to 12. There was actually 13, and one of them didn't make the cut for this one, but it'll be the first on the next one. So we had great fun doing that.
So you've connected with one of the hot spots for music, Tennessee, which is really, really cool. And how did that all happen? I mean, that's a great connection to have. Tennessee, Memphis, Nashville, any of those areas, because a lot of music is coming out of that region of the globe here in the States.
I just had this, I had a childhood dream to go to Nashville, and I finally went. I went last, or was it the year before? I finally got to Nashville and met some connections, got some management, met some people that I started writing with, started doing shows, and let's just say the child in me was really happy that I took that gamble and went there, because it was something else, and I met lifelong friends over there.
So if you ask James McGrath, in coming to America, what would be his lifelong dream of places to go, everybody? It is not Disney World. It's Nashville.
not Nashville, Tennessee, and even East Tennessee, where my management company is. I love it out there, out in Johnson City. And actually, if anyone's watching, a big shout out to the Tri-Cities, and I hope you're all doing okay after what happened out there.
The hurricane that went inland, which was really unusual, the East Tennessee and parts of Western North Carolina and Florida and Georgia, and really something. Normally hurricanes don't go inland that far. They usually go up the coast, or they go out to sea. Maybe they bounce off, Newfoundland or Nova Scotia in Canada. But there was a low pressure system in the Midwest, and that sort of absorbed the hurricane, and they combined, and that's what that was about. But crazy stuff. So blessings to everybody in those particular areas.
Sending prayers to everyone out there.
Absolutely. In the past 12 months or so, you've played shows in Sweden and the United Kingdom and Ireland, and you've had several stops in the United States, including Nashville, New York City, headlining a show last March in Orlando, Florida too. So gang, he's been around. Tell us what it's like touring and going to those places. It's got to be really cool.
It's fabulous. Absolutely the best part of the job for me, because I'm not a man who likes to sit still, and I just love seeing something new. So the more I'm on the road and the more I meet new people, the happier my mind is and the more creative I am. And I'm always itching to play somewhere new and play a new gig and to meet somebody new and play to a new audience. And so when I'm on the road, I'm actually happiest. That's my favorite part of this.
That's the key, meeting people and being on stage. I believe in doing my research that you've been quoted as saying you're a God-fearing, complicated overthinker who used to be an overdrinker, lived 1,000 lives, thankful to be here and to be addicted to music.
That's me. That's me in a nutshell. Yeah. Yeah. My hands up. I said that.
Yeah. He said it on the RTE too, which is Ireland's television network. I know a lot of great folks over there. Matter of fact, I got interviewed by the weatherman, one of the weathermen, when they came to New York City, and we were at this big Irish documentary event, and I was invited to go, and the weatherman from the RTE was there, and they were broadcasting live, and he said, come on over. You have Irish in you? I said, yes, I do. Come on over. Let's talk to you. And here in New York, and what's going on, and what'd you think of the documentary? It was really, really cool. So yeah, that's an interesting way to describe yourself and being addicted to music. I mean, how do you, if you're an overthinker, would you say you're a perfectionist? Are you always striving to make everything perfect? Or do you know how to let up on yourself and just let whatever is pouring out, pour out?
Actually, that's a great question, because even today I was trying to finish a new song that I was writing, and it would drive me crazy if I couldn't get it the way I want it. So some days I actually have to step away from it if I don't think it's in my grasp. And like today, I had to step away from the song. I said, I don't have the energy to put all my time into it right now. So it's a fine line between overthinking and actually getting the job done, because sometimes you can get in your own way. So sometimes I have to just let it out.
So how much has, you have your background, your Irish roots, how much has the exposure to Tennessee enhanced, tweaked, morphed your music at all? Has it enriched the music? What has it done for you?
It actually, what it's done for me is it's brought me back to my Irishness. I actually thought it would go the other way, but since I went out there and I started playing in Tennessee, I realized, hey, I'm Irish. I don't need to put on a Tennessee accent. I don't need to try and mimic them in Tennessee, but I should learn from them, their tone and their songwriting is like their whole way, their work ethic. Everything over there has taught me that, but it did bring me back to singing in my own accent, my own Irish accent.
Which is great. It stands out. It's unique. It's a gift. And, and as you've probably seen or heard or felt when you come to the States, everybody loves everything Irish. I mean, all these Irish artists and Irish groups and Irish bands and performers and dancers and the Irish culture and the food. There's a real love affair between, because there's a significant amount of Irish here there and in Canada. There's a real love affair between Ireland and America. Have you felt that? Have you noticed that in being a visitor?
Yeah. Absolutely. I find actually America lit that fire for Ireland in my heart again. It was America that really brought, I don't know, it felt like I could feel my ancestors coming through me. When I went to America, it made me so proud to be Irish. And I found my identity by going away from home. I found my identity at home.
Isn't that amazing how it is? That's a fantastic thing you said. I've always said, sometimes when people sort of bash where they're from, or they're just down on, or they're negative about where they are, and they're like, oh, this place, I don't like it anymore, blah, 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 I'm going to go here. One of the great ways to really appreciate where you're from and your roots and even some of the way of life you're used to is to leave it for a while, then come back. And when you come back, you really have a deeper appreciation from where you originally come from. And I've noticed that when I've gone, to Europe and other places, my re-appreciation for home, for America, you fall in love with where you're going and the culture, and it's all new and you experience it. But then you're like, gee, there are some conveniences or different things I'm used to that maybe don't exist elsewhere, and we really should appreciate it. So that's one of the great things to do, is to travel, to get out and experience other cultures, other places. So you have that reappreciation for home, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, everything you said there is, I totally relate, because anytime I went somewhere new, I found an extra appreciation for home, and I found an extra appreciation for being away when I'm home too long. It works both ways, and it kind of works together that way. When you're away, you want to be home. When you're home, you want to be away. And if you can learn to love both of it, that's the trick, I think.
So do you plan more tour dates? Is there more travel and promoting the new music that's out?
Oh yes. We're actually going to do a 5-week tour in America. Now I won't say a date yet, because we're still trying to finalize some stuff. But
The
it's looking
venues
like,
and
it's looking like early next year I'm going to be doing 5 weeks in America.
That is cool. That's fantastic. Are there areas that you hope to go to? There's certain areas where, there's just a big Irish following, New York, Boston, Chicago, lots of Irish in those areas too, and other parts of the South. And do you have places that you hope to get to?
Yeah, actually, it's you mentioned New York, Boston, and Chicago. The three of them are on the list for the 5-week tour. I think after that, we're hitting Florida again. We're doing Tennessee, and we're trying. I'm not sure if it's on this run, but we have some friends in New Mexico, and we're going to do some shows up around there too.
Oh, that's cool. That's great. I've been to Albuquerque, which is a cool area, kind of funky area. That's, I believe, where they filmed the series Breaking Bad.
I've never been, and I really can't wait to see it.
Interesting. Yeah, it's desert, and it's just real raw earth. It's unique. It's very picturesque too. Santa Fe is another area too that's really, really nice. And
I'd love to just see all them places. And
yeah, you can go across America and you see so much, the beauty and the topography and geography, so different in so many different areas, which is really cool. How about in Ireland, things that are coming up in Ireland for you there?
Well, it's similar. We're going to hit Limerick, Cork, Galway, Dublin. We're putting together an extensive Irish tour where we're going to try and hit some of the smaller towns while we're reaching the city centres. So you're going to see a poster very soon of James McGrath with an extensive Irish tour.
What is a James McGrath concert like? I described it a little bit, but what is it like for those who have not had a chance to be at one of your concert events?
Well, if it's a good night and if everybody's feeling the same energy, it's wild, because we'll tell the stories, and it's like an interactive thing. So we'll talk to people, and everybody comes along on the ride when we get into it. I like to get the crowd singing back, and we have these chants, especially in a song called "Can't Get Out," where we call it a boom bop paddy, and the crowd chant back boom bop paddy, and we have all these chants. And if the night goes well, it's very interactive, and I'm hoping I think it takes people away from themselves for a while. People get involved and they're not on their phones and they're actually out and about and they're at the gig, because I always remember feeling them old gigs where you'd get goosebumps and you just feel the electricity of the speakers and you feel all that. And I'm trying to carry that torch. I'm not. It doesn't always. It's not always It doesn't always land, but I'm trying.
You've had an opportunity to work with so many great people, and working with others is always a great thing, and collaborate. Are there people out there? You probably got your own internal list of people that you would love to be either sharing studio with, stage with, collaborating with, whether they're fellow Irish artists or any others. Do you have this dream list of people you would love to work with?
Yeah, I could name 50, but
Yeah.
like there's an album coming out tomorrow, or it's coming out this week. Bon Iver has a new album coming out, and I think he's an absolute genius. I really think he's one of the heavy hitters for me. I think he's writing and his production and everything he does is just absolutely fabulous. So he's one of the main ones at the minute.
That's cool. We dug this picture up too. It looks like you're having a lot of fun in the studio with this gang.
Oh yeah, that's Peter and Ronan. Yeah.
So tell the gang watching who they are.
So the guy in the middle is Peter Maher, and he produced my whole album, The Can't Get Out. And the guy on the left with the cap is Ronan Nolan, a fabulous drummer from Ireland. And he also plays with Gavin James, a big Irish artist. He's a fabulous drummer. And that guy on the right, that's my old head.
We actually have some other cool shots too of time in the studio and some filming going on here too.
Yeah. That's Thomas Miles. He's a fabulous videographer. A big shout out to Thomas Miles at Avalanche.
Oh, that's cool. That's another great shot too. That's another great one.
Yeah, we were shooting the video for Easier Done Than Said for that one.
Nice setup you got there, huh?
Yeah, that's Peter Maher's studio in Middlewalk, in a little village here in Tipperary.
Laying down some vocals.
Yeah.
And there's that album. How'd you come up with the cover? The idea of the cover of it. It's great.
So a great friend of mine, Selena O'Mara, she's a fabulous photographer. And she took I told Selena I needed an album cover, and I told her the name of the song. We took a bunch of photos, and she just said, there's one photo that really sticks out, James, but it might be a little dark. But I chose it, and she said, I knew you'd choose it, but she thought it was too dark. And I said, no, it's exactly what's needed. Yeah, so Selena O'Mara helped me get that photograph, and I think she captured the trials and tribulations of the album.
So how many instruments can you actually play?
None. I can.
Okay.
I can play the guitar. I can play the
His
guitar.
real name is James McGrath, but on stage he goes by Milli Vanilli.
No, I can play the guitar, but I wouldn't be a master of any instrument. Like I'm very much the writer. Like I'm an acoustic guitar player, and I can play drums. I can play basic drums, but I would say my main strong point would be putting it all together and the performing it. Like, so we've now got a lead guitar player with us, and we have a fiddle player, and you have me on vocals and acoustic, and that's our live setup for the minute. And we seem to be getting a good energy with it. So
It's not easy forming a band and keeping a band together. How have you been able to, get the others and get them on board and get that glue that's so important?
With great difficulty, with absolute great. You're dead right. It's very hard to get. I suppose it's hard to get people to be so passionate. It's not like we're 12-year-old kids anymore in a shed. Like, people have to get paid, and people have to get to work, and people have to come out and play. So there's a lot more elements than just playing in the garage like we used to. So you have to make sure everybody's family life is right and they can take time off and they can tour. There's just lots of factors. And when that balance is right, it's brilliant.
That's really cool. What are some parts of the globe that you haven't visited yet? Have you been to Australia and other places yet? Germany, France, with the
No,
music?
I've not been to Australia, but some of my best friends are in Australia. So I've said to my management that I'd really, really like to play some shows out there, and we're hoping to make that happen. I'd really like to get out to Perth in Australia. I have a great friend out there. Brian is his name. And Brian used to help me with all this. And he used to do all the music when I was younger. And he moved to Australia and he got married and had kids out there. So I'd love to get out and play some shows in Perth.
That would be really, really cool. And then Brisbane and Melbourne and do a
Yeah,
whole maybe
I'd love to do a whole Australian tour.
tour. There's a big Irish following, big Irish contingent in Australia too.
Yeah, I have a great friend out there. He actually opened for me at my album launch in town. His name is Eddie Lawler, and he's in an Irish band called Medusa's Wake. And they're in Sydney. They're based in Sydney. So a big shout out to Eddie and the band Medusa's Wake, because we're hoping to get out and do some shows with them.
That's fantastic. That is really great. How long did it take you to put this album together when you first had the idea? And then when you were satisfied enough to say, okay, we're done, print it, it's perfect, let's release it to the public. I'm good with it, especially being the overthinker. How were you able to say, I'm good with it? And what was that process like? How long did it take to do it?
I think that process was very much helped and sped along by Peter Maher, the producer, who really, really understood me and was able to get what I wanted and what he wanted. Like, I feel we were on the one track of what we felt this album needed. So there was very little changes and very little overthinking. For once, for me, there was very little doubt about the album after we had it mixed and mastered. Now, before that, we chopped and changed a few things, but from my previous recordings, there was very little changing. It was a very smooth process, and I was just actually eager to get it out. I was probably a little too eager to get it out. I just wanted, I was very happy with it, and I wanted to have my album out there.
Do you remember the very first gig you ever did? And that sort of break for you where you got noticed and people were like, hey, this guy's really good?
Well, that's two different things. The first gig I ever did, the first gig I ever did, nobody said I was very good.
Just the family, right?
Yeah, even the family.
Even they weren't.
Like, you're not ready. The first gig, yeah, but the first gig I got some good feedback. Yeah, I do remember a time in my life when there was a pub in my hometown called Long Charlie's, and I remember a crowd singing back one of my songs for the first time, and I'll never forget that feeling. And just the pub was packed, and like a lot of them were my friends, and it was just one of the greatest feelings that they all knew the words of one of my songs, and it was one of the first times that I knew I was doing something for others, and it just really instilled that here I should stick at this,
And then the first gig you ever went to, that would be probably with your father's, right?
Yeah. It would have had to been one of my dad's gigs. I think it was. I don't know which was the first because I was so young going with Dad. I remember
Joe Dolan gig.
Yeah, I remember a Joe Dolan gig in Nenagh, and he was wearing this white matching suit, and I always remember him putting on one of the best shows ever, and he gave me a Joe Dolan cap, and he signed it afterwards, and I was like, what a man. It was great. It was great.
Now, people might be surprised by this, but I think in some research that we dug up, the very first album you ever purchased was not Kenny Rogers or John Denver. It was not Michael Jackson. It was Eminem, Slim Shady, huh?
Yeah, I was obsessed.
What was it about Eminem, Detroit hometown guy that from 8 Mile that intrigued you? What was it about his music?
I
Because
have
it's
no.
so authentic and he tells stories and
I was I was a teenager, and when I heard Eminem, I mean, he took over my whole thing. I didn't listen to when I first heard Eminem. It was everything. I was wearing the backwards caps. I was learning word for word all his rhymes. I had never heard anyone be so honest. I'd never heard anyone being so brazen, but so clever and so tactful and so rhythmically, the way he moved his words and his enunciation of letters and rhyming within words. I'd never heard anything like it. It was like the equivalent of hearing a new color. It was, I just said, this is a genius. I was overwhelmed and just followed him. I used to like be glued to the television. At the time there was the top 30 hits, and it was like it was bold to watch him, and I just couldn't wait to just see Eminem's video, whether it be Stan or The Way I Am, whatever was coming on the top 30 hits. It was like a win for people that weren't meant to be listening to him to see him on the telly, because I'd have his albums, and I could talk about Eminem for hours. I just think he's one of the best artists of all time.
does he know you feel that way? Have you ever reached out to him and say, "Hey, I'm a performer too"? And
I would say he has never heard of me.
well, if he watches the Jim Masters show, he might. Eminem,
If you see me, give me a call.
Eminem, do you want to step in now, or? And our next guest is Bob Dylan. Is another. I had an opportunity through PBS to do a PBS special that celebrated the 30th anniversary of the big concert that he did in New York. I think it was Madison Square Garden. It was for great performances, and learned so much more about his contributions. Bob Dylan, another influence for you, huh?
The same thing. I got a little bit older. I actually was listening to Bob Dylan when I was a little bit younger, before Eminem, but I didn't grasp it. And then when I got a little bit older, I went back to Bob Dylan. Actually, my aunt is who put me on to Bob Dylan. I'm in my aunt's house here now. I was telling you off camera, Jim. It was my aunt's house here that put me on to Bob Dylan. And then that was overwhelming as well, because he'd such a big catalogue. I felt Bob Dylan was like a friend. Whatever emotion you were feeling, you could find it somewhere in the Bob Dylan catalogue. Whatever you're feeling, any day of the week, you'll find Bob Dylan covering that somewhere.
The Irish are great storytellers, aren't they? A lot of it, whether it's telling a good joke or, a one-liner or a full elongated story, or through the music. A lot are born storytellers, like listening to stories and telling stories. And when you get a chance to do it, whether through humor as a comedian or through music, it's part of the culture, the richness of the Irish culture as storytellers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite things to do is go to a pub in the morning and listen to some of the older men that only go out early, and they're just talking to one another, and their storytelling is as good as any movie or film you'll watch at home. Like, I've got old friends there, like the likes of PJ and Jer and Tom, like all these are great friends of mine that are in their 70s and 80s. And when they tell each other a story, it's captivating. Like, I would just listen and just be in awe, listening to them telling each other something that happened to them. Like, they would tell the story so vividly, and I was just always engrossed by storytelling.
It's interesting you said film. And when I was a kid, because my father's side of the family, his mother's side and his grandmother and grandfather, they came over from Ireland. They settled in New York City. And as a kid, my father, I've always heard say film. And I would say, Dad, what's film? You mean
Yeah.
film, right? Film. Yeah, film. Yeah. And it wasn't until I was interviewing Ronan Tynan on PBS for an Irish special, and he said, film. He was talking about paparazzi and all the rest. And he said the word film. And I couldn't acknowledge it because I'm interviewing him on television live.
Yeah.
And I said, where have I heard that before? And he mentioned that certain parts of Ireland, that extra syllable, that film, is what is said. What part of Ireland do you hail from?
So I'm from a town called Nenagh in County Tipperary.
County Tipperary.
Yeah.
And film, is
yeah, I didn't know I said that funny until
cool.
when I was over in the States, and my manager was kind of joking, going film, and then I realized I was saying it. Yeah.
So what are some other things that inspire you? What's a typical day like for you? Are you always writing? Are you always making music? Or again, you said sometimes you need to break away, clear your head, do something, unplug, and then come back at it fresh, right?
Yeah, like I don't know if it's it's a blessing, but I could write a song at any minute, or like I could sit down now and write a song, and it's just whether I would have the patience with myself to structure it and sit down and actually get it finished and store it somewhere and get it recorded, and then all that overbears me, so I'll have to just step away and do something different. I've got a dog at home. I might take the dog for a run out the fields and just do something totally away from all of it, because I can hyperfixate on the music and it can become stressful. So I find if I relax a little and approach it when I'm in a good place, that's when I'd get most done.
What are some of the things you do in addition that keep you grounded and keep you like hobbies or different things that you could plug into that aren't music related?
I don't have much hobbies. I like to play poker. So I play in a poker league in Limerick City. It's like a Texas Hold'em tournament, and you play league games. I think the poker kind of tunes me out and just keeps me focused on a certain task. I like backing horse racing. I love watching the horse racing and following all the jump meetings here and watching the night meetings in America. And I follow probably a lot of the vices in life, like these, because I used to drink. So when I gave up the drink, I didn't give up watching the racing, and I didn't give up playing poker. So I still do the things that are around the drinking culture.
Can't get rid of all of it. One thing at a time, right? One thing. Yeah. Moderation.
Actually, Morgan Wallen has a song on the last album, I'm only giving up one thing at a time. It's very good.
They say some of the most incredible music and sculpture and art and things were created at times when people were feeling a little giddy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? Some of the best music was at times when people were feeling good.
I wrote a lot of them songs on the album when I used to drink. Now, I wouldn't write them when I was drunk. It would usually be the day after a heavy session, or the day after a few too many. I always found I'd write best when I was feeling a little hungover, or you have that melancholy and that nostalgia. So it wasn't kind of under the influence. It was after the influence. If you know
was
what I mean.
After.
Yeah.
That's usually when most people can't talk, but that's when he operates the best, or used to. Now it's all, That's what's great about it, is you're very real and you're authentic. And I think that's why people can, they can relate to you. They can relate to your stories. They can relate to your sound, your music, your vibe. And that's why when you do tour, the US and Europe and other areas, that's why there's such a great response. People like, it's kind of refreshing when you have somebody who's the real deal, isn't it? Because there's so much plastic out there, so much, everything is auto-tuned and digitized, and just not, you don't know what's real and what isn't. And here you come with the guitar and the gang, and you tell it like it.
Well, thanks very much. Because I would even still, I'd still be conscious even about some of my stuff, and I'm saying, "Oh, James, you sold out a little there on that one, or you're giving a little too much on that one." But that's when I was younger. I think I've lightened up a bit on myself. I'm just really happy to be here now, and I'm going to try and take life a little lighter, but stay focused even heavier on the production side of it, and the music and the writing, because I think when you come from a small town in Ireland, and if you're going to be coming back here and hanging out with the same guys, they're not going to let you be fake, and they're going to pull you up if you're talking crap on the interviews, and if you're lying about stuff. I've got a few friends that would pull me up very quickly.
Yeah, I could see that, and it's a good thing that to have that around you, right?
Yeah, I've got very good friends around me, and I think something that benefited me. I don't know how it happened, but my friends were always a little bit older. I've got one of my best friends is in his 70s. Two of my best friends are in their 70s, and it's like genuinely they're my best friends. That's who I'd hang out with. That's who that's where I'll go after this interview. That's what I'll do. I'll call up to one of the boys, and they're in their 70s, so they've been through any of it. They're not going to let me give them a sob story. They're gonna keep me grounded,
which is key. That's what it's all about. What would you say to the earlier version of who you were, the younger version of James McGrath? Some of these photos, you could have been a model or an actor. Have you ever thought about that? Has anybody ever approached you about acting?
I'd have loved to go into acting.
Yeah, some of these
the
shots,
opportunity never. I'd have loved to do acting, but the opportunity never arose for that. But I would have loved to have tried acting. My brother done a little bit of acting here in town, and he was very good at it. So.
Oh, really? Now, is he musically inclined too? Does he get into music as well?
No, Jack moved away from the music, and he went down the bar trade. He's managing a bar in London, and he's doing very well over there. But he could play piano. He just moved away from music. I was telling him he should move back into it because I need a piano player in the band. So.
Right, exactly. I was showing this earlier. This is some earlier material, right?
Yeah, that's the early house. That's about when I used to drink, and there's a very that's what we call a pub here in town. If you're going in the morning, you'd go in the back door to the early house.
To the early house.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah, that's Simba. That's a kind of a pop love song that I wrote a few years back.
That's cool. This is an earlier shot too, but this is a cool one also.
Yeah, that was shot in that's Camden. That's in Camden town. We were passing where Amy Winehouse used to hang out. God rest her.
Oh yeah,
that's Amy in the background.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can see it now. There's another great shot from earlier.
Yeah, that was in England. Yeah,
in his youth, right? Time goes by fast, doesn't it, my friend?
Yeah, it does. When you were saying, would I give myself any advice? I would. I tell a younger me to lighten up, not to take himself so seriously.
To smile.
Yeah, smile and lighten up.
And have you?
Yeah, I think I have. I have.
Yeah. Which is, it's a key to life too. And, I know you like to have fun with the audience too. As you're playing the music, you like to involve them and have fun with the ticket buying public and the fans, right? Make sure they have a really good time at one of your concerts.
Yeah, we like to have some humor actually in our concert. I have a fiddle player there with me, and he's a gift from God. His name is Pádraig O'Reilly, and he's not just a fiddle player. He actually now helps me with the set list, and he adds so much character and fun and engagement to the live show that I would really, even if someone's out there that doesn't like my music, I think they'd still enjoy coming to see Pádraig, just being Pádraig on stage. He's fun. He's a show in himself. He's fabulous.
which is really, really cool. It's a great, it's great that you mentioned him too. And that, it takes a village, right? Supporting one another and helping lift one
Oh,
another and get the word out, because that's the key
yeah.
to it all.
Since Pádraig came on board, and so there's Pádraig playing fiddle, but there's another guy behind the scenes, Alex, who doesn't play on stage, but he does absolutely everything else. He just, you mightn't play the music on stage, but he's part of everything else. And they're like band members, It's like, and there's JJ, and then like Pauline, who helped me get this interview and get in touch with you, Jim. Like, without these people, none of this happens. You know what I mean? So a big shout out to Pauline, and thanks for all your work, guys. If anyone, and thanks for everyone that's helping me with this, because I don't say it enough, and it's a nice time to do it on the Jim Masters show, because I'm very proud to be on this show.
My pleasure. And if you want to call me Seamus, you can, because that's James in Irish, right?
Seamus.
Yeah,
some people call me Seamus here.
Exactly, yeah, because we're both James. Absolutely. I'm the fifth.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. James the fifth.
Goes all the way back to Ireland. Yeah.
I'm named after my granddad, and he was Jim. So yeah.
Your grandfather as well. Wow. Yeah. And you've even got your own logo and everything, which is cool.
Yeah. Actually,
and you have your own actually the same initials, JM, as me.
Yeah.
Are you all Irish, or is there any Scottish or anything else in you?
Well, when I looked up when you go into the history of the name McGrath, there is McGraths in Scotland, but our clan seemed to be the Irish McGraths.
It's the Irish one, right? Yeah, that's cool. Good stuff. This is really great. I'm so excited that things are really popping for you, James. And here is the information, folks. It's available at all of those places you see on the bottom, and then some. And if you want to learn more, you can go to James's website. He made it easy for you, just like I did with the Jim Masters Show. And I'm Jim Masters. His is music by jamesmcgrath.com. Try to make it easy. And you can find out about, there's videos on there and music samples, and he'll post tour dates and other cool things on that website as well. James, this was awesome. I can't believe we chatted for an hour. It went by like in a New York minute. And I always say we're going to keep the porch light on for, our guests. And you are absolutely welcome back here at any time. We, in the early days of this series, I was saying, which was during the pandemic, I said the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And one time I said it a little too fast. Our viewers know this who watch all the time. And one time I said it, ever the New Yorker saying it fast. I said, the show has a lot of light levity. Like, what the heck is that? And it was love and levity together. So what happened was the audience, the viewers, our faithful, said, guess what? You are now effectively, as of that day, Mr. Levity. This is Levity Hall. We're your Levity squad. And the guests who come on are part of the Levity family. How cool is that, huh?
Well, I'm proud to be on the Levity show. Thank you.
You're one of the Levities. They're already saying it. You are one of the Levities, my friend, which is cool.
I like that word.
Isn't it cool? Love and levity. The world needs more of that for sure, I tell you. And there's the website again, gang. Check that out. And, if you feel like you can't get out, listen to this material and you'll learn how you can. James will teach you how in this great, great album. And it's really fantastic, debuting now and available now at all those locations to see there, Spotify and Apple Music, iTunes, Deezer, and everywhere else. James, this was awesome. Spread the word about our show. It takes a village. Hello to all of our friends and family and everybody, colleagues in beautiful Ireland. Hopefully we'll see you in the flesh when you're here in the States, maybe when you're in New York or the Northeast area. That would be cool, James. Love to catch you doing your thing. And come back and see us again. This is archived on our YouTube channel for those that are watching who maybe joined us late or they want to see this again. It's archived on our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. And we hope everybody gives this episode. If you love the conversation we just had with our special guest coming in from Ireland, James McGrath, click like, a thumbs up like on our episode. Share this on your social media. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and leave a comment. Interact with us. Say hi to me and James in the comments section underneath this episode as well. And they should all subscribe to Jim Masters TV and like this episode. Right, James?
Absolutely. Subscribe, guys.
That's it, my friend. That is it. All right. Well, thanks for being with us and having a great conversation with us. Maybe next time we'll have you sing something or play something as well. He's at his aunt's house right now, so he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to break the china or knock anything over with the big guitar. True. They're out in the backyard in the hot tub while he's doing the conversation with me. But he'll perform next time. But you can check the music out in all those places. Awesome conversation, brilliant, which is a word I love that they say in Ireland and the UK. This was brilliant. And come see us again. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you.
Thank you so much, Jim. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure was all mine, James. You come see us again. Good luck with everything. Congratulations. And we'll see you again next time, okay?
Thank you, Jim.
All right. Cheers. James McGrath here on the Jim Masters Show, Entertainment, Lifestyle, Celebrity Talk Show series, coming in from the beautiful Emerald Isle, Ireland. And that was a great conversation, wasn't it? We really appreciate him joining us here on the show. And of course, we appreciate you joining us as well. Again, don't forget to like this episode, click the thumbs up like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and click the notification bell too, that little bell icon, so you never miss any of our episodes, all the different times that we have them. And leave a comment for us. If you enjoyed this episode of JMS, the Jim Masters Show, interact with us. Leave a comment below in the comments section. We see all the comments. We appreciate all those comments as well. It means the world to us. And again, we're so excited to have James here on the show. He's really a straight shooter. He's authentic. He's the real deal. His music is that way too. If you want feel-good music that makes you think, makes you feel good, takes you away from the craziness and the troubles of life, you got to listen to our special guest, James McGrath. He's going to make you feel good. And you have a rousing time if you check him out at one of his concerts. He's coming back to America, which is exciting. He's got some great cities, New York and Boston and Chicago and Florida and more. So look out for that. Again, we appreciate him being here. We appreciate you being with us here on the show as well. You can follow us and me on social media at Facebook and X and Instagram at Jim Masters TV. So come like and follow and all the rest. We'd love to see you there. That would be great. And of course, James is on social media as well. And there again is his website address. Check it all out. For all of us here, thanks to everybody watching all around the world. We love having you here. Thank you for your time this time. Till next time, come see us again. We'll keep the porch light on for you as well right here at Levity Hall and the Jim Masters Show. As we always say, take care of one another, love one another, and don't forget to take care of and love yourself. It's really important to do that. We love you all. Be well and see us again on the Jim Masters Show. Cheers.